Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. I am your host of the Questioners Inquisitor, High Inquisitor Doman, and got a bit of a, I don't know, it's a very weird one for me, personally speaking. I've not come across something like this before, but I'll get to that topic in a minute. But first, let's start out with something a little bit more lighthearted. I guess not really lighthearted, but um, so on Twitter, Pirate Nation has posted about Collective Shout. And if you remember Collective Shout was this Australian company, nonprofit group or whatever, that's basically like allegedly against abuse and sexual exploitation and all that kind of stuff, um, of women and whatnot. But apparently only in fictional ways, like video games or digital drawn art type stuff, not an actual like real abuse. It's a very strange position to take. Um, but basically, they're just really upset about anything that's in video games or is drawn by somebody, but not like actual people who are actually being, as they call, sexploited. Like, I don't know, OnlyFans or something of that nature. Um, and apparently there was uh, there's kind of like a meme going around about Collective Shout where basically they have, oh, this anime character or something in a video game somewhere. They throw a hissy fit, but then when like this girl releases a whole bunch of content on OnlyFans as she turns 18, which means it's probably made before she turned 18, they crickets, nothing, not a thing. They don't care. It's a very strange. It's a very very strange world we live in when they're upset about things that aren't real and not upset about things that are real, like human trafficking or something. Like, it's, I don't understand it. But Pirate Nation says Collective Shout was caught sending emails labeling anyone questioning their authoritarian approach as enemies, and this was through Smash JT. So, dear blah 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 blah, over the last 2 weeks we have been subjected to the largest coordinated cyber attack in Collective Shout's 15-year history. The fact that they've been around for 15 years blows my mind. Our team has been hit with a daily barrage of vile abuse and harassment. Receipts, please. We have been bombarded with grape and death threats. Receipts, please. Our images have been morphed into corn. Receipts, please. We have been doxxed. Receipts, please. Haters have circulated our photos and tried to find our home addresses. I mean, there are people who are that crazy to do that. Sure. I mean, you're pissing in every can you possibly can reach. Somebody's bound enough to be insane enough to do something stupid. That doesn't mean squat in the reality of things. But if you use the term haters, first off, it's cringe. Second off, how am I supposed to take you seriously? Because haters? Really? Like, that's online lingo. That's not, like, professional company lingo. 10 petitions were launched against us, full of false accusations. Sources, citation needed, things like that. Elon Musk retweeted one of them. Oh no, the horror. There are currently hundreds of YouTube videos slandering us. Well, let me add to the pile for that. Except I'm not slandering you, I'm just telling you exactly what you say. You know, basic stuff. What has caused this vicious pile on? Our enemies are trying to destroy our operating systems. They literally can't. Your operating system is on your computer there, good sirs. I know that's probably not what you mean, but that's what it is. They've gone after our global allies, charitable partners, ambassadors, and other backers. They've tried to get us social media platforms to shut us down. I doubt that. I really doubt that. But we won't let them. Like, yeah, if somebody's trying to shut you down, there's not much you can do about it if they find a legitimate reason for it. So, I mean, whatever. Your tax deductible gift today. This has, like, give me your money vibes on, like, yeah, I get that there's a non-profit. It may even be for profit organization. I think it's just a non-profit. But it's like they're trying to say everyone's attacking us, blah 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 blah, but you can make a difference if you send us money. Okay, whatever. And then $20 up to $1,000. Our opponents will stop at nothing to bring us down. They've made that very clear. I mean, this has like super villain vibes written all over it. That's why we need your help to right now to protect our movement. A movement on track for its biggest year of victories ever, including this one. Biggest victory? What? Biggest year of victories? What? One victory? Which counter, like, well, more or less boomeranged back at you. I wouldn't exactly call that a victory, but okay. I mean, the process is still incoming. Like, we're still trying to figure out what actually is happening because of this. And if it changes, because they are trying to debank Steam, which is all over the place, but if Steam finds another payment processing backer or whatever, well, they're going to be back up and running in no time. Or if the government steps in and says, you're not allowed to do this because it's a difference between a publisher and a platform. You're supposed to be a platform, not a publisher. Um, they're just going to go right back to the way it was. So I don't know what victory you're thinking is going to happen because by definition, a $1 billion business like Steam is not going to just let you just shut them down. They're going to get around it somehow because they have to as a business in order to survive. And the thing is they did exactly what you wanted, and you still are trying to debank them. So it's not going to end well. Just saying. And we did the other stuff of enemies trying to destroy our operating systems. Your tax deductible gift today will help us protect our cyber systems from malicious attacks. Oh, I wish that was that easy. Help keep our online spaces free of women haters. Trolls. You're the only women haters in this space, guys. Come on. You're literally despising women that are fictional digital women and the females that actually create the content. Like when you go after Stellar Blade and like this design is sexualization, and it's like it was designed by a woman. Congratulations, you woman haters and trolls. Help us collate briefs of evidence for police, e-safety, and our lawyers. How does giving you money help collect evidence? That's not how that works. Unless you're trying to hire out every PI you can possibly find. Help uphold our freedoms and rights. You live in Australia. You don't have freedoms or rights. Thank you very much. To continue speaking out. Send a message that we will not be defeated. Oh my gosh. It's so much cringe. I don't even know where to start. It's bad. And Smash JT was like, I got this via anonymous tip email. It says, Collective Shout has been caught sending out emails labeling anyone daring to question their authoritarian approaches as enemies. That doesn't sound like something a victim would say. I mean, yeah, that doesn't sound like a victim. It smells of what are they? Televangelists? Like, in order to stop sin in the world, in order to preserve a beautiful planet and all the wonderful things in our lives and all the moral thingy-majiggies and thingamabobs, give me money. That's what it sounds like, which is nonsense, of course. That's not how that works. So, press X to doubt is where I would come in for that. Now, for the next topic, you might be familiar with Pal World. This is a bit of a weird one because I didn't know it was possible for Kotaku to be like upset about the stuff they usually support. So I'm just assuming they're licking Nintendo's boots as hard as, not really licking, deep throating Nintendo's boots as much as they can, for reasons unknown to mankind. But Power World devs reveal degenerate high school dating sim that might actually be real this time. So, with this being initially an April Fool's joke, which is Pal World more than just pals, and that was back in 2024, it seems that this might be a legitimate thing. The developers behind Pal World have re-revealed their furry high school dating sim, almost, nobody asked for. Now, here's the thing. Wouldn't Kotaku be excited about this? Because isn't Kotaku like the degenerate, like, like flagship of America, or well, I guess the internet, not even just America. Like, it just seems really odd that they're calling this out. But it's called Pal World more than just Pals, and was almost certainly an April Fool's joke the first time it was teased in 2024. But it might actually be a real thing now. I mean, it wouldn't be that difficult for them to make. That's been the confused reaction of just about everyone who's seen the announcement, which includes a complete Steam page and new trailer this time around, as well as screenshots and in-depth descriptions of all the main characters. What lies inside the mysterious world tree? I don't know, that sounds a lot like a Elden Ring question. Reads the store listing. An exciting life, a school life filled with cute pals. Will you remain friends or fall in love or dismantle and eat them? Your dream school romance starts here in this Power World dating sim. I don't know. I'm sorry. That just sounds hilarious. Say hello to Splatterina. I'm good with crafts and medicines. Nurse Saya, huh? No drinking at school. Don't be so uptight. And Catras, you won't be able to take your eyes off me. But there's no release date yet. But the Steam page lists a whopping requirement of 4 megabytes available space. And here's the post from Pal World, allegedly. I think it's a Pal World thing. You all keep asking for it, so here it is. The Pal World Dating Sim Steam page is live, along with a nice new trailer showing off some more of the characters. Good idea, bad idea. Who cares? Someone will be happy. I mean, that's definitely a business a business type spiel if I've ever heard it. Along, obviously the Pal World page will promote it. And here you got some characters. If I can open it up. That's a long thing. Yeah. I'm not going to play the music on and stuff, but it's literally just like mixing multiple silliness. Oh, it didn't share the tab. My bad. Hold on. Oh. I guess it's gonna probably do that anyway. Hold on. I guess we'll do the audio. Why not? So, for this to be like legit, it leans more to being legit because you don't. I can't imagine you put this much effort in something, even for like April Fools. Like, it'd be much shorter. I mean, they're leaning into the Monster Girl thing. Yes, the classic, boobs there. Wow. Oh, Yandere. Oh my god. In development. Oh my. Well, we'll go back to this, and that can go away because that's the thing. The dating sim was first mentioned in last April Fool's Day, just a couple months after Pal World had blown up on Steam and Xbox Game Pass. It leaned to the game's base mix of cuteness, adorable Pokemon knockoff creatures. I mean, just because they're monsters and Pokemon are monsters doesn't mean they're inherently a knockoff. They might have some knockoffs, and that's perfectly fine if they want to, but everyone, it makes me just, it screams Nintendo shill to me, but it's Kotaku, so shilling is what they do. And depravity, forced labor camps. Yeah, I mean, first off, if it was depravity, like, what is it, Date Anything was the game, I'm pretty sure these guys would go nuts over that game. Where you literally, like, my fridge turns into some dude, and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be able to shag you. Because you can literally just shag anything because it all just turns into a humanoid. But they're like, oh no, forced labor camps, that's where I draw the line. I'm imprisoning and enslaving digital data bytes. Ugh, how depraved. To suggest a romantic spin-off, what would turn taboos into memes? Well, yeah, it's a comedy. It's a ridiculousness. It's what it is. Some players claim to be disappointed that Palworld More Than Just Pals wasn't actually real, but the Pal's paw might have just curled to grant their wish. Not again. This April joke feels sad, wrote one person on X. April joke? What? Wishlist now on Steam, replied the official Palworld account. In the latest Palworld More Than Just Pals stunt arrives after the survival crafting Sims 1 year anniversary and in the midst of a legal battle with Nintendo over patents for certain game mechanics that may have been infringed upon, like aiming and throwing a ball to collect a pal inside, which is ridiculous in any shape or form. Pretty much everyone at Pocket Pair is a huge fan, so it was a very depressing day. Everyone heads down and walking in the rain. Community manager John Buckley told PC Gamer in an interview earlier this month. It changed a lot of things for us. We were just about to release the PlayStation version. We were just about to go to Tokyo Game Show, so obviously we had to scale back a little bit and hire security guards and stuff like that. I don't know why people would attack you over that, but I'm sure again, there are psychopaths and there are over the top fanboys. It seems like such a dumb thing. Like, oh no, someone made a clone. If I'm not saying it is a clone because it's obviously not, but to imply that somebody takes something and makes something slightly similar, despite that Pokemon, you can't craft bases, you can't build buildings, you can, like, I think Legends Arceus and a couple of the other smaller Pokemon games, like the old school Game Boy games, allow you to, like, use, like, apricorns and stuff to, or berries, I think was the other one, to create, like, a Pokeball. That's the extent of, like, crafting in a Pokemon game, where you do that to make your Pokeballs using Palladium, but you don't. You can build a house, you can build a mansion, you can build a fort, you can build a campfire, you can build crafting stuff. Like, it's an actual crafting thing. Pokemon doesn't have an actual crafting thing. They might be upset that Palworld exists because they wanted to do it first, but I highly doubt that because Game Freak is extremely lazy, I think, about Pokemon. That and or the Pokemon Company and Nintendo limit them because I've seen what they can do. They have a game coming out. I can't remember what it's called, but they have a game coming out that looks, it's not even a Pokemon game. It's like a legit, like, high quality graphics type game. And I'm like, so you can put effort into things when you try. You just apparently don't want to. I don't get it, but okay. Because when you see the Pokemon games, you're just like, why does this look horrible, for one? And two, why does it look like it's not been tested and modified to actually fit? Like, if you compare, say, something like Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, which is huge in terms of, like, you walk out on a ledge and you can just see for what appears to be miles. You don't see, like, necessarily the intimate details all the way around, but you do see a lot, like a lot. And maybe it's just the way they shade it and everything. It melds really, really nicely together, but you get, like, grass flowing with wind blowing and all that stuff like that. But if you get, like, Scarlet or Violet, it's about as flat as you could possibly get. And maybe the Switch 2 fixes a lot of that because of power issues, but if you can do it in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, why would it be a problem with Pokemon? Like, it's just a strange thing. And there was somebody who made, like, a mod to make it like 1080p and at least 60 frames. I think they even got it to 120 frames. I don't remember exactly the details, but at least 60 frames where things are on the screen at a further distance and you can see a lot of stuff. Granted, I think they made it on PC, but it's still, it calls into question of like, okay, if I'm going in Scarlet and Violet and I'm running over things that I'm just moving so fast in the game that the Pokemon don't even like load in the game by the time I'm through the area, or I run over them and I'm now in a battle because the game doesn't have a way to recognize. What's the point of going fast? What's the point of giving me a character with a bike Pokemon that I can go really fast if I'm just going to literally just be going fast thinking, oh, this is great. Oh, I'm in a battle. I'm going to run away or I'm going to beat it. Oh, this is a great day. It's like, oh, I'm in another battle. And you just like, you're going to be staggering the entire, you might as well just give me the slowest option to walk in the game. You might as well, because by the time I try to get somewhere, it's just going to be loading after the fact I'm already walking through it. And then it's going to say, oh, wait, you walked through here. Therefore, you were in a battle. You cannot tell me that was optimized. That was definitely not optimized. There's a lot they could do. And at the very least, you could have done a graphic boost to at least the bare minimum of the level of Breath of the Wild. I mean, it's not that much of a big difference. It's just you put a little more effort into it. So, but even if you wanted to keep the graphics away and like, let's just make it pure performance, you didn't even do that. So optimization was not really a key thing. And I think it's because Pokemon, whether it be Game Freak, who owns a third, Pokemon Company, which owns a third, and Nintendo, who owns a third, they're either incompetent, which is always a possibility, they're lazy, also a possibility, and they think very poorly of their fan base because they're like, well, we'll just release any slop that's out there, and then people throw money at us, which is technically true because that's what Pokemon people do. I mean, I've done it, but I was also expecting more from it. By the time I already threw the money at them, it was a little too late. I was just, oh, I thought you knew how to actually make stuff. But then you see something like Brilliant Pearl, Shining Pearl, and Brilliant Diamond, where another company makes it, and it actually looks really, really nice. Although I'm not really fond of the chibi stuff. I get the chibi is technically what the original Game Boy games were, but it was like chibi before there was chibi, I guess. I don't know. But they could have made it more like the DS ones where it's less chibi and more like, you can tell you're, you know, a 12-year-old as opposed to just like everybody, whether it be an old man or a young girl trainer or something, like they all look the same age because they're all chibi. So that was a little annoying. But the fact that they're it just reeks of Nintendo being salty that somebody else utilized a similar concept. One did it better because if you play Power World, it's ridiculous. Like you can see for long, long distances, kind of like Elden Ring. It literally is just Elden Ring, Pokemon, open world survival crafting with guns. Like that's what it is. It really is. Um, it's a strange combination of games, and Pokemon's like, dagnabbit, that's our idea that we're never going to implement or even attempt because it's so ridiculous. But man, I'm going to do it now, or I want to do it now, but I can't do it now because now I look like a clone of this guy. But man, I want to do this, but I know I'll never actually do it because I'm too lazy and incompetent to do it, but I really want to do it. It's really stupid. But, and Kotaku showing themselves as themselves, says, fortunately for Pocket Pair, I don't think Nintendo will want anything to do with Power World more than just pals. Yeah, it's strange world. But on top of that, we got more Kotaku stuff, which I think is hilarious. Power World Slop arrives on Switch despite Nintendo's ongoing legal battle with the original. So, okay. If an outlet, news type thing or whatever, is saying the word slop on something, they're already biased. They're not trying to be unbiased. They're not trying to even attempt to not be stuck in the dredges of their own biases, and they're just trying to go out there and say, I'm going to just deep throat that freaking Nintendo boot as hard as I can because I want, like, notice me senpai. Let me cover your topics, please. And it's Kotaku. It's a joke. Poundland is a clone of the survival crafting sim without the Pokeballs. That's going to be kind of an image for it. I mean, it looks like a game. The hit 2024 survival crafting sim Palworld is conspicuously absent from the Nintendo eShop amid an ongoing battle with Nintendo, which has accused the game of violating its patents. How is it conspicuously absent? That doesn't make any sense. We're in a legal battle with these guys. We should totally put their content on our platform. Really? Are you that dense? That's not how that works. And again, accused of the game of violating its patents. Not that it actually has, because again, those patents shouldn't exist. They're not patents that should be enforceable, because it's like saying, hey, we saw you use some water textures. We have a patent for water textures, so if you want to use water textures, you can't, because there are patents. We're only ones allowed to use water patents or water textures because we have the patents. You shouldn't be able to patent water textures because that's ridiculous. Like, if you yourself created from the ground up your own type, and Nintendo has a game over here with almost identical type of waves crashing against each other or whatever, but you made your own, you're not utilizing their stuff, then why on earth would I presume that I wouldn't be able to use mine because you have one? It's just a wave texture. It's just a water texture, reflects or whatever, it's see-through, clear, whatever, like that. Like, that doesn't make sense. Throwing an object at something to hit it and to capture, that should be in different segments. So you have an object. Let's call it a spherical object. You throw it. That's okay. So you have a spherical, you have a throw, you have a catch. Ironically, you can catch humans too. It's not limited to pals, so you can't really say it's monster collecting. I guess unless you count monsters as the bad guys that you catch in the Pokeball, they are kind of monsters for different reasons. But you can also catch the good guys like the security forces and stuff. So I don't really understand the point of that. But it's strange because they're like, no, this is all one feature. It's not individual pieces. It's a whole picture. And it's like, well, can I throw things in games? Can I pick up a rock and throw it at somebody? Yes. Well, I should be able to, but Nintendo might throw that into question, because if I throw a rock at something, it's a spherical object I am throwing, and I might catch them by knocking them unconscious, and then I can drag them back to my lair. That's a capturing mechanic. It's not capturing them in the spherical object, but it's still a capturing mechanic. So it's very similar. So who's to say that you couldn't do that? I don't know. So the whole concept is ridiculous, and Nintendo is just being pedantic for random reasons. But despite this going on, this happens. So Poundland, the same can't be said for Poundland, a cheap knockoff. It's a cheap knockoff. One, do you know how much it cost? I doubt it. Two, what's it a knockoff of? Just Palworld? Because you can't cheap knock off your own stuff. You just branch out. So they're again showing bias. That Nintendo seemed to have no problem approving for sale on the Switch eShop earlier this summer. Glance at the store listing for Poundland via Nintendo Soup, and you'll instantly clock it as a Palworld clone. But it's not a Palworld clone. It's a Palworld universe game. It's using the Palworld systems and everything, just minus some of the stuff that Nintendo doesn't have a problem with. Like much of the knockoff slop that crowds digital storefronts. Nobody cares about your opinion, Kotaku. Even if maybe it is true. I don't know. But nobody cares about your opinion, so stop trying to give it. This is not supposed to be an opinion piece. This is supposed to be a news article. I mean, maybe, let's see. Does it say? Ethan Gach published. Well, it doesn't state it's an opinion piece, but I'm assuming everything on Kotaku is now an opinion piece because news is not something they're good at, apparently. It's a simplified version of an existing game that mimics the art style and marketing more than the actual gameplay. Published on July 31st by Boggysoft. Well, then it's not Palworld? Okay, so they're not going after the PAL company. Or, what's the name of the company? I just blanked out. I just... Wow. Well, anyway. Buggysoft is not the guys who made Palworld. So Palland is a thing, I guess. The $10 game bills itself as a base building survival sim in which you harvest resources and kill stuff. How original. What it doesn't mention is that there's anything about collecting creatures that look strikingly similar to certain Pokemon. And if it did, it wouldn't matter. It's like, oh, they have a horse. That's just like Ponyta. Okay. Oh, they have a bat. Oh, it's just like Zubat. Well, if you're going to compare everything to every Pokemon that's out there, there's only like, what, 500 Pokemon that are going to take... Oh, look, it's a chair you can sit in. That's just like a Pokemon. Oh, look, it's got candles on the table like it's Skyrim. Oh, it's just like a Pokemon. Oh, look at that cute little dog. It's just like a Pokemon. Oh, it's some bread. It's just like a Pokemon. Like at some point, you gotta stop and say, wow, I sound retarded. I shouldn't be saying this stuff because it's just stupid. Like, Palin delivers a rich, immersive experience where base building, combat exploration, and evolution blend into one dynamic and strategic journey. I don't know if that sounds to strategy, but okay. Reads the description. Gameplay footage uploaded by various people on YouTube shows the reality. An avatar who looks straight out of Palworld running around boring fields. Punctuation, good sir. Fighting cute creatures with incredibly low budget animations. Okay. That does look like a low tier Palworld release, but okay. That's placed on top of that because the screen's not actually that big and you can actually do that. Whatever. But what Paland is missing that got Palworld in trouble are Pokemon mechanics, like getting creatures to low health, aiming not Pokeballs at them, capture them, and later being able to ride on their backs. Those are gameplay loops. Nintendo said Palworld maker Pocket Pair. There we go, Pocket Pair. I should have known that one. Has been... Pocket Pair violated its patents for, leading to a lawsuit filed last year, except some of those patents weren't even filed until after the lawsuit was in place, so you can't violate things that don't exist. So that's not entirely true. Yeah. But reported by GameFile, Pocket Pair has been implementing a series of tweaks beginning last November to each of these mechanics to address Nintendo's legal complaints, although it remains for the court to decide if the updates go far enough. I mean, it's ridiculous that they're getting sued, period, because it's clearly not Pokemon. It's clearly nothing to do with it. It's clearly not taking the universe and throwing it in something. It's totally, entirely different genre of game with totally new creatures that some have the appearance, but it's like saying, well, they have a cat creature, we have a cat creature. Okay. And, well, they have fish, we have fish. We have a bird, they have a bird. So they're just copying us. Oh my gosh. While Nintendo might not have a problem with Palin since its creatures aren't obvious knockoffs of Pokemon and it isn't selling tens of millions of copies, the proliferation of games like Palin is a clear problem for developers on storefronts like the eShop. Why? Why is that a problem? In addition to lots of other generic AI slop, again, nobody cares about your opinion. They can like or dislike AI on their own. They don't need your opinion. You can just report it. It's now common to see console storefronts quickly fill up with knockoffs of Steam games after they blow up in popularity on PC. PSN is already chock full of Peak clones. I don't even know what Peak is. That was part of the irony of Sony suing Tencent over its obvious Horizon Zero Dawn ripoff. It doesn't matter if it's an obvious ripoff. What matters is if it is a ripoff. Like, did they literally just take everything and slide it over, or did they actually, like, change stuff? Because there's monster hunting games. Like, think Digimon versus Pokemon. They do very similar things. They even evolve and all that kind of stuff. Although evolution's Digimon's freaking weird. Um, I think I remember seeing the game that they were doing, and it's just Horizon Zero Dawn looked actually horrible compared to the new game. I want to say, but I know some people like Horizon Zero Dawn, and maybe it's fun. I haven't played it. But I know the second one was trash, whatever the one that one was. While the publisher is quick to deal with rival companies allegedly infringing on its IP, small studios and solo devs are left to scream into the customer service void to try and get cheap cash grab clones of their work policed on the PlayStation Store. You've heard of the 2025 Steam sensation Schedule 1, but can I interest you in some trippy trader Schedule and Sell? Unlike Schedule 1, it'll be available on PS4 this month. This is how a market works. People say, oh, that thing is selling. Let me make something like it, and then I will put it on the market. It's literally that simple. It's not a complicated procedure. It really isn't. It's so annoying. But, needless to say, Kotaku's going to Kotaku and Kotaku all over itself because who else is going to do it? It's not going to be Nintendo. But they have to be righteously indignated about, well, everything. That they're upset because their preferred people that make stuff aren't being the only preferred people making stuff. Now, I haven't looked at Paland in depth, but from the very little I've seen of it, I mean, the character obviously is a knockoff of one of the presets you can get in Pal World, but who cares? I mean, it's. I mean, for all I know, Boggy Soft is a Chinese company that's just making a knockoff because that's what China does. They make knockoffs. Very rarely do they make legit original stuff. They just take something else. Now they might take the story and they might change it up a little bit, but a lot of the stuff is like, oh, this is just like this other game. It's just it has its own story and other things like that. So I don't know. It's if somebody thinks this is doing well, who are we to say you shouldn't be able to do that? Because if they want to do it, they can do it. Doesn't mean you have to buy it. So if you don't buy it and you're not supporting it, then who cares? Now, let's say, for example, the Schedule 1, the Trippy Trader thing. Let's say Trippy Trader does better than Schedule 1. Who cares? All that points to is Schedule 1's developer saying, we probably should have put this on PlayStation. Or we should have probably, I don't know why they said PS4 when they should put it on PS5, but whatever. Maybe they're doing both. But maybe we should have done that. And if you didn't do it, guess what? That's your fault. That's not everybody else's fault. That's literally just you didn't innovate yourself enough to the point where anything else trying to compete against you just has no shot. That's the point. Like Temtem. And I love Temtem, and I have a love-hate relationship with Temtem. So Temtem's a fantastic game. It just doesn't have an offline mode, so you can only play it when you're online. And if you don't have access to online, guess what? You're not playing it. I call that problematic. So other people don't. Whatever. So if Temtem was offline, or I should say offline, if it had an offline game mode, guess what? More people would be apt to play it. Like myself, more often. Like I own it, but I don't play it because I'm not always online and I don't always want to interact with other people online. And it is an MMO style game, which is fun because it took a lot of the things that Pokemon did well and kept them and ditched all the stuff they didn't like do very well. For example, the common one, if you've ever played an old school Pokemon game, you got yourself a Pokemon capable of surfing, you'd walk to the ledge, you click on the ledge, you get a little box pop up. Would you like to surf? You'd hit yes. And then it would do this little animation. And then it'd be like a shadow of a Pokemon that you can jump on the back. And then you jump on the back. And after 5 minutes of this thing to get freaking through, and obviously that's hyperbolic, you finally get in the water and then it pauses and then it lets you move. Well, they're like, well, what if we just run up and throw a board out and jump on it and just instantly you're in the water swimming around? Huh. You mean I don't have to waste my time with useless stuff? That's pretty freaking cool. And And if you think about it, like when it comes to Pokemon, you're sitting there like, okay, well, instead of like, what if I want to walk up to water and not swim, but instead I want to fish? Well, you have to hit select, and then you have to open up your key items, and you have to select your fishing rod, or you have to set your fishing rod to a shortcut key, like usually your select, and then you can do that whenever you go up there and you hit select. Like, or just not have all these animations. Like you're making this like, and it's just a time wasting thing. Now, if you have a good game, you shouldn't be wasting time because people have things to do. They have places to go. They have Pokemon or Tems to catch with the shiny huntings or whatever the case might be. Why does it have to be something that just consumes all of your time? Temtem looks phenomenal compared to a Pokemon game. Like visually, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. There are wall climbing stuff and everything like that. If you get the proper gear, you can go climb walls like you could in Pokemon games. If you have the right stuff, you can go places. Bicycles, the vehicles of your choice, that kind of thing. But they also add things like you can go to a house that you quote unquote purchase, and you can customize it like kind of a Animal Crossing style. So they did everything that they did correctly, and I would be shouting their praises to the rooftops or off the rooftops to the sky and everywhere else on the earth if they also had an offline mode. But it's almost like they think if we didn't make this online only, no one would use the online function. I'm like, that sounds ridiculous because you can play with your friends. Now, keep in mind, if you play Scarlet or Violet, you start an offline mode and you can enter into a mode in which you can play with your friends by joining somebody's hosted world or they joining your world. And then you can go around the world with your friends. Why can't you do that in Temtem? Because if you don't have access to the internet, you can't play it. Now, Temtem devs have looked at that issue and have made a statement saying basically, if we ever are taken offline or whatever, we'll make it single player. I'm like, then freaking make a single player mode now. Why not? But no one says, oh well, they have some Tems that are eerily similar to a Pokemon. Because they didn't make like tens of millions of dollars, because it's not in that particular genre everyone thought was an interesting combination with an interesting style of everything. So I don't know. I just want good games, and I don't think we're gonna get very many good games because they're always gonna wimp out on something moderately good. So I don't know. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Um, do you think that Kotaku is an unbiased source of news, totally unopinionated and such? Do you think perhaps the Power World lawsuit or Nintendo's lawsuit against Power World has merit? Do you think it doesn't have merit? Do you think it should, you know, stop people through patents? Should that be something that game companies can do? Because if that's the case, can we halt all these other games? Because then it's going to be a patent battle and nothing's ever going to get made. Or do you think it'll just be, well, it's not a big deal. We'll just have this one game be crucified and then the rest of them, whatever. Like, let's just go on. Do you think it'll stop the progression? What do you think? I'm curious to think or to hear what you have to think. Um, as for collective shout, do you think they're actually victims? Do you think that they're just making stuff up so they can make money? Because that's never been done before, especially on Twitter. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. If you've made it this far, I appreciate you. Please leave a comment so the algorithm actually cares, because if people watch but they don't comment, the watch hours don't count, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, because a bot could easily just say poop or something in the comments after watching the whole video and it would magically work. So I don't know what that's supposed to change, except for maybe the advertisement revenue, but they're going to put advertisements on anything anyway because they can, and whether or not I say yes or no, because I'm always going to say no, but if I say yes or no and they put them on anyway, they're going to be making money, I guess, off of it. It just makes sense to me. Whatever. But I would appreciate it if you would do that for me. Liking, sharing, subscribing, all that fun stuff at your leisure if you would like to. If you like what I do, then cool, hang out. Check out the Discord in the description below to come hang out off of YouTube. And I also have my Twitter slash X uh, profile on there if you'd like to follow me there and talk to me there and share stuff there. It's all fun. But Discord, I'm going to be probably the most active because I'm on it every day. But yes, got a fun memes, got game talks, post my live streams if you want to check out my live streams that I game on Tuesdays. I think we're moving it to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time from 9 p.m. Central Standard Time so I can get more gaming in, which is always fun. But yeah, check those out. Obviously, my Friday and Sunday releases both at noon normal times, but I would love to see you guys there. If you do show up at a live stream, feel free to come into the chat and say hi and ask questions or just shoot the breeze. That's what I do. I mean, I have I have conversations like this last Tuesday. We're playing Time Splitters 1 and I started talking to people in the chat about Magic the Gathering and I ended up turning into like a 20-minute thing just because it's fun. I want to interact. Like interacting with you guys is as fun, just as fun as playing the games. And boy, am I enjoying my games. So, but if nobody shows up, I'm still having a blast. So it's win-win for me. But I'd love to get to more of you guys. So also check out Crimson Law if you're interested in. He's going to be in the description. If you're interested in any of the anime, Japanese cultures, and all that type of stuff, he covers that stuff with a Saturday night stream and I believe also a Wednesday stream. So that's your shindig and you're interested, check him out. He's a cool dude. Also check out Unbearable 73, which is our very own Matt. His channel covers wrestling, movie reviews, all that kind of stuff. He also does a lot of guesting on Roman of the Empire and several other channels, and they talk about a variety of things. So if that's your thing as well, please check them out. And then also the background NPC. She's a pretty fantastic content creator. I enjoy her content. Um, they're just it's very cozy. It's very level-headed content, and she puts a lot of effort into it, and I think it's fantastic. I wish I was half as smart as she was. And I could probably make my content not nearly as bad as it is. I just throw a camera on and I talk. So she puts a lot of effort. Go give her some love. She's a sweetheart, and she deserves it. Also, check out Meta PCs if you're into PCs and stuff. Code 199 if you want to support geeks and gamers. Meta PCs is a veteran-owned PC making company, and they support our corner of the YouTube world, not me directly or indirectly. They don't support me at all. Outside of being in the world of people that they agree with in terms of censorship and all that stuff. As well as check out Ayakamods and DEG Mods. Both are companies of modding that are trying to counter the Nexus Mods nonsense that's going on with censorship and how the platform's trying to turn into a publisher. So yeah, they're pretty fantastic. DEG Mods looks like they have some big news coming out, so keep an eye on for them. All of them are linked down in the description. I don't get supported by any of these guys except for like obviously Matt and Crimson, come on and hang out from time to time. But I'm not getting kickbacks. I get no monies. I get nothing. I just want to support them because they support the stuff I believe and I agree with. And sometimes they support me, like Crimson coming and hanging out, or Matt hanging out, or any of those guys. But yeah, I think you should check them out and support them, and you'll do me a favor by supporting them. It's great. So yeah, come hang out on Tuesdays, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Fridays, obviously, noon is just a video release, and Sundays at noon, video released. So thanks everybody for hanging out. You guys are freaking awesome, and I appreciate you guys more than you understand. So thanks everybody for hanging around. Remember, my friends, walk in the light.